me out the budget.
So, Dr. Watson, what have we learned this evening?
We learned that unicorns can't swim.
Well, at least not in worldwide floods, anyway. But I think we learned something more important than that.
We learned that you can be mean sometimes. And the way you told those people off, they look really mad.
My dear Watson, I wasn't trying to be mean. I was trying to be loving.
You call that loving? That wasn't loving. Gee.
Watson, if I see you in a horseless carriage...
It's the old-fashioned word for car. Just let you know that. All right. Go on.
All right, let's use your words then. If I were to see you in a car, driving and going down the road where the bridge is out ahead, is it loving for me to try to stop you, or to just talk nicely to you and say, you're doing a lovely job driving?
I would rather you be driving.
And why is that?
Because I can't get a driver's license. I'm a dog. What are you going to do? You're trying to sit there and try to steer the wheel with my paws. Yeah. I can't even see. I don't got eyes. What are you thinking?
I guess I see your point.
Who should come by at that moment but the lovable Inspector? Remember? Let's try.
Come in.
Nailed it.
Inspector, welcome. What brings you here this evening?
Mr. Holmes, I came to thank you for assisting us earlier this evening and to present the status of the missing tempers.
At that very moment, there came a violent knock at the door. The kind of violent knock as from someone who has bad breath. I mean a bad temper. Yeah, like that.
I wonder who that is.
That's the knock.
Come in. Why, Mr. M, interesting that you should come by at this moment. Inspector Lestrade was just about to update us on the status of your case.
Yes, I know. I'm blind, Mr. Holmes, not an imbecile.
Yes, sir.
Let's get down to business, Inspector.
Oh, I am Inspector Lestrade, at your service.
Would you please stop interrupting? Please lay forth what you've uncovered thus far. I'm sure that you found that that man didn't really rise from the dead.
On the contrary, Mr. M. Today I interviewed someone who had already investigated and documented the entire life, death, and resurrection of Mr. Jesus. He assures me that he faithfully documents each incident as told to him by eyewitness accounts.
Inspector, you do not seem to understand the meaning of the word investigation. You are failing miserably, sir. Did you at least ascertain the current location of the body of of that man?
Why, yes, Mr. Kim. Yes, I did.
Inspector, would you please share that information with us? Or do I need to play 20 questions to get the information from you?
I love that game! But that will not be necessary. It appears that there are around 500 witnesses who physically saw Mr. Jesus right up and away.
Oh, was it like in those plays where the people are attached to the wires? They go up and down, look at the flying. Was it like that?
Sort of, but no strings attached.
Inspector, that's preposterous. You're failing miserably at your task.
Mr. M, life is infinitely stranger than anything which the mind of man could invent. In fact, when you have eliminated all which is impossible, then whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth.
Mr. Holmes, I don't need your platitudes. Inspector, I'll give you another chance to solve this case, but you had better make better progress with the next report.
Remember, Mr. M, the only sure obstacle to truth is to think that you already have it. The inspector can find the truth, but it is meaningless if you aren't willing to accept the truth.
Mr. Holmes, I'm not looking for truth. I'm looking for what happened to the man who went to the grave. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Are you gone now? Because I want to talk behind his back. Inspector, I think Mr. M is slightly irritating you.
Yes, Mr. Holmes. In fact, he reminds me of hemorrhoids. The pain in the
Who should knock on the door at that moment but the lovely Miss Scarlet from the evening earlier? It's Dobby.
Come in. Why, Miss Scarlet, how may I help you?
It's the murderer. Oh, wait. Sorry, I forgot.
Mr. Holmes, I've been thinking about what you said earlier tonight. You're right. I am self-centered. My life is empty. I'm looking for more. The life you described, filled with worship and watching God work, I want that. How do I get that kind of life?
The process starts very simply, my dear. When we ask Jesus to come and live with us in our hearts, he gives us a brand new life. We're not going to do everything right after that, but God helps us to stay pointed in the right direction. It's then up to us to choose to go to church, to read God's Word, to talk to God in prayer, and other things that keep us going in the right direction.
Mr. Holmes, I choose that kind of life. Can you help me ask Jesus to come with me?
Why, yes, Miss Scarlet, I would love to. And if we could bring up the other lights.